I made it again. 2 times is a charm today, y'all. No, I'm not from Texas. I'm from Chicago. But I live in this stupid state of California that's like a commie state. You know what I'm saying? So, therefore, I got to teach myself my own history because those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it. Amen. No messing around this time, you guys. I botched up my morning stream pretty good. So we're doing number 18, round 2. And I hope I don't have to do it a third time. I hope I can just pull this one off. I actually was reading what we're going to be going through, and it's very interesting to me. This is about property rights and voting and stuff, and I always wondered why they didn't just keep it that way. So today I got a little lesson. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Thank you, Eric. Hello. Nice to see you. I love these pretty banners Eric puts together. So supportive. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Wunderbar. So if you didn't know, my name is Deanna, and I'm streaming out of Humboldt County about Humboldt County to Humboldt County and anyone else who cares typically. But right now I am doing a study on the making of America. And I did it this morning, but I batched it up. Uh-oh, did I leave my own stream? No, I didn't leave my own stream, did I? Uh-oh. I did leave now I lost my microphone. Wait a minute. What happened here? Where did y'all go? There you are. Yay. Okay. Whew. I thought I lost you guys. Whew. This girl is off today, but that's what makes it fun. So come on in and join along, everyone. We're learning about history. We're learning about the making of America. So we are on session 3. Uh-oh, this is where I got lost before. Just stay right here. Stay right here. Yes, I need to dial this desktop in better. I sure do. So you go to standuphumboldt.news, and then it will take you to the Constitution tab all the way on the right, and just click on the study at the top, and bada bing, bada boom. Except I didn't share my screen, so let's do that. All right, here we go. Constitution study right here. Here it is. Here I am. And actually, if you didn't know, if you go to the homepage of standuphumboldt.news, I'm streaming live there. Every single time I'm live, you can find me on the homepage. So if you haven't followed along before, let's keep it easy for you. The studies are only up here while I'm streaming about them. So right now we're streaming through session 3, and we're on questions 10 through 18. I got through 14, so I suspect we'll get through that too. I'm going to probably just do up to 14. So my main man, Salty Cracker's coming on at 4:30. Okay, and I need me some salt today. There's so much I want to talk about and stuff, but this is really important to me to just stay committed and focused on this right now. So this is what I'm doing. And I had a great time taking the time out to study all of what I learned today. I actually really enjoyed it. So why is it more proper to refer to the United States as a democratic republic than to call it a democracy? Then we go to page 264. Oh, look, it's here for you. Just for the study and educational purposes. I'm going to hold it up on the screen, but I'm actually going to read it on my book because it's going to be easier for my eyes. So just follow along and you'll learn along. And If you can, get your own kit from the National Center for Constitutional Studies. They're fantastic. I got my kit in no time, 4 days. And that's here. Either tab will take you to the kit and you can have it in your own home. And it comes with all kinds of stuff. I got 4 books, a DVD, posters, bookmarks. I felt showered in love. So why do we call it a democratic republic than a democracy? Well, what I found here, and since I already took pictures of the page, I did do some highlighting in my book. It's customary to refer to the American system of government as a democracy, but it is more than that. Democracy involves mass participation of the people in passing laws and operating the decision-making processes of government. In a republic, on the other hand, the people's representatives pass the laws and operate the government. The founders wrote into the Constitution the democratic principles of mass participation of qualified voters in electing their representatives, but then they turned to the principle of a republic to have these representatives pass the laws and administer the government. This double function makes the United States system a democratic republic. The founders thoroughly understood the fatal weaknesses of a pure democracy and warned against the masses attempting to manage all public business. The word democracy is a combination of 2 Greek words, demos, the people, and kratia, the government. Mass participation in government can work with a small group, such as family, but it has never worked with a state or a nation. Athens tried it under Pericles, and while the freedom it provided gave Athens her famous golden age of around 40 years duration, the political system was totally self-defeating. And then we're going to get into the reasons. That's actually the next question. Name 5 reasons why the founders avoided a Grecian-type democracy. Hey, are you okay? I'm streaming right now. That's okay. Okay, good. I'll go with you. I need to go to town too. Okay, Mom, I love you. Bye. When your mama calls, you answer your phone, don't you? That's right, I do. Okay, name 5 reasons why the founders avoided a Grecian-type democracy. And we're going to get right into that right here. We already was. See how it's numbered for us right there? Super easy study. Voting was restricted to those who were financially independent on the assumption that they would be free from daily employment and have time to concentrate on city business. Okay. To those, I'm going to read this. I got all. We're talking about. I need to read the question again. I was thinking about my mama. I'm sorry. Okay. The 5 reasons why the founders avoided Grecian-type democracy, okay? This is why we don't like democracy, basically. Voting was restricted to those who were financially independent on the assumption that they would be free from daily employment and have time to concentrate on city business. Oh, so elitists, yes. 2, the majority of them became bored with the tedious task of meeting continually. 6,000 were required to pass a law, and 201 to 2001 were required for a jury. 3, because of neglect, the government soon fell into the hands of a few bureaucrats who operated the affairs of the people to their own advantage and eventually became known as 30 tyrants. Excuse me. 4, the power of the voting majority soon resulted in their discovery that they could soak the rich. This rapidly destroyed the investment capital and industry of the city, which provided jobs for the common people. To survive, the rich conspired with Sparta and overthrew the whole system. 5, the cumbersome machinery for decision-making by so many of the electorate was disastrous in time of any great emergency, such as war. It was just a question of time until the system was doomed. 200 years ago, a noted historian, Alexander Tyler, explained why a pure democracy tends to destroy itself. Do we actually need to read this? Let's see. Democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until a majority of the voters discover they can vote themselves largesse gifts from the public treasury. From that moment on, the majority always votes for the candidate promising the most benefits from the public treasury, with the result that a democracy always collapses over loose fiscal policy, taxing and spending, always followed by a dictatorship. The average life of the world's greatest civilizations has been 200 years. The American founders were determined to build into their system the freedom of a government of the people, but avoided the pitfalls of a pure democracy. It was sufficient to have mass participation in the election of representatives, but after that, they wanted the principles of a republic to prevail. Now we're going to get into the next question here. Number 12, name the 3 kinds of republics. Give the reasons why the founders rejected the first 2 and created the third. So, did it say 65? Man, my eyes can't see this well. 67. No. 65. Yep. Okay. Just checking. So I thought that was where it was. Okay. Ancient Israel, Rome, and the Anglo-Saxons all survived for several hundred years under the principle of a republic. As we pointed out a moment ago, an ideal republic consists of combining 1 to administer the law with the representatives of the few in a Senate to protect the territory, wealth, establish order, and to maintain continuity, and then combining these with the representatives of the many. So 1, few, many. In General Assembly to protect the interests of the people. This formula strongly appealed to the founders. We remind ourselves that historically there are 3 kinds of republic. 1, the unitary republic is one in which all power is vested in the central government. Great Britain is a unitary republic with all power centered in Parliament. 2, a confederation of states republic is one which grants very little power to the central government, but reserves nearly all power in the local political units or the states. This is what happened under the American Articles of Confederation, which almost caused the states to lose the Revolutionary War. During the American Civil War, the southern states also tried to use a confederacy. 3, a people's constitutional republic is sometimes called a federal republic or democratic republic. This system is based on the supreme will of the people, which is expressed in a written constitution. It was invented by the American founding fathers. This American system divides power vertically and horizontally and assigns to each level of government those responsibilities which can be most efficiently and economically administered there. It proved to be the soundest system of government ever devised by man. In discussing these issues, the founders answered the following questions. Will the reduction of people to equality under a pure democracy assure them of economic and social equality? I don't know, will it? Read the last part about the democracy as well. The weakness of democracy. Democracies have never been spectacles of turbulence and contention, have ever been found. They have ever, not never, I'm sorry, excuse me. Democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention, have ever been found with incompatible with personal security or the rights of property, and have in general been as short in their lives as they have been violent in their deaths. Theoretic politicians who have patronized these species of government have erroneously supposed that by reducing mankind to a perfect equality in their political rights, they would at the same time be perfectly equalized and assimilated in their possessions, their opinions, and their passions. (13) who was given the responsibility to determine which citizens are qualified to vote for members of the U.S. House of Representatives. On 267 and 268, it says right there at the top, any citizen of a state who is qualified to vote for a representative in the state legislature shall be considered qualified to vote for a representative in the United States Congress. This provision gives every citizen who is qualified to vote for a representative in the lower chamber of the state legislature the right to vote for a congressional candidate to represent him in Washington. Oh, and they say 68 too. I don't know why. They might want us to read a lot more, but we're going to get into the property one. That's what I really was focusing on. It's a pretty broad question. How did the founders feel about voters being required to own property? Well, okay, so Madison said here on 267, universal suffrage, this here, who are to be the electors of the federal, well, he's talking about the federal representatives, not the rich more than the poor, not the learned or learned, more of the ignorant, not of the haughty heirs of distinguished names, more than the humble sons of obscurity and unpropitious fortune. The electors are to be in the great body of the people of the United States. They are to be the same who exercise the right in every state of electing the corresponding branch of the legislature of the state. Now we get into the voters' property. I just want to know, why was this requirement abandoned? And then I'm just going to read this last page and I'm going to pause it at these 4 questions. I'm not going to do all 8 questions today. So, because I was always curious about this. So I just want to read this because, there's been many times, of course, not when you don't own property, but then when you do own property, you're like, man, they should have kept it that way. Because you know why? Because my husband was a caretaker for a home. We didn't pay rent. We were given money from the government to go to school. You just don't take care of things the same as you do when you own them. So that's why. But this was the question posed, and it's the answers here too. Why was it abandoned? Should voters be required to own property? Mason, a freehold is the qualification in England, and hence it is imagined to be the only proper one. This heater is killing my throat. Excuse me, I gotta move it. Such dry heat is just blowing on me. The true idea, in his opinion, was that every man having evidence of attached to and permanent common interest with the society ought to share in all its rights and privileges. Was this qualification restrained to freeholders? Does no other kind of property but land evidence a common interest in the proprietor? Does nothing besides property mark a permanent attachment? Ought the merchant, the moneyed man, the parent of a number of children whose fortunes are to be pursued in his own country to be viewed as suspicious characters and unworthy to be trusted with the common rights of their fellow citizens? Disenfranchisement unjust. Franklin, it is of great consequence that we should not depress the virtue and public spirit of our common people, of which they displayed a great deal during the war, and which contributed principally to the favorable issue of it. He related the honorable refusal of the American seamen who were carried in great numbers into the British prisons during the war to redeem themselves from misery or to seek their fortunes by entering on board the ships of the enemies to their country, contrasting their patriotism with a contemporary instance in which the British seamen made prisoners by the Americans readily entered on the ships of the latter, on being promised a share of the prizes that might be made out of their own country. This proceeded, he said, from the different manner in which the common people were treated in America and Great Britain. He did not think that the elected had any right, in any case, to narrow the privileges of the electors. He quoted as arbitrary the British statutes setting forth the danger of tumultuous meetings, and, under that pretext, narrowing the right of suffrage to persons having freeholds of a certain value, observing that this statute was soon followed by another under the succeeding Parliament, subjecting the people who had no votes to peculiar labors and hardships. The sons of a substantial farmer, not being themselves freeholders, would not be pleased at being disenfranchised, and there are a great many persons of that description. Why would property requirements create enemies? Property requirements for voters would divide the people. The idea of restraining the right of suffrage to the freeholders would create division among the people and make enemies of all those who should be excluded. And that's a sketch of the founders carefully discussing the right of voting. So, yeah, I didn't get to do anything past that, so I'm going to save those for Friday, 12:30, my usual time. So I really mustered it up today. Pretty good. Hi, Nora. Hey, but you got to make this one, so that was great, right? Great to see you. Nice to see you, Jenny. Hi, Scrimshaw Rose. I was trying to say hi to you in tins last night. I had all kind of problems. I saw you come in. Good to see you here, honey. I hope you guys enjoyed that study. I'm keeping it short and fresh, but I really did just fascinated by it, really enjoying it. It's been fun. And if you can handle salty language and you like to know what's going on in the world, well, Salty Cracker's about to fire up a stream. So that's where this girl's going to be listening in. I'm going to go get my horse Ed and take care of his feet, wash him up, enjoy the sunshine, and just listen to what's going down. Watch the crazy go down, you know. I love y'all for being here. Thank you so much. Oh, there you are. He lives. He lives. So good to know. I was getting worried about you, mister. Thank you. Love y'all. Talk to you later.